Good morning. Welcome to another show. I'm your host, Conway Cameron. Recently, we have a lot of killings going along in this country. Shootings of bystanders and drive-bys happening like you're watching a movie. What is happening in this country? Are the situations created by the government? Is it a country or a national problem that we are having as it relates to the motive of the killing? Can the police plan for something that they weren't trained to deal with? Do we need to call in the psychologist or the psychiatrist or somebody to do an analysis of the situation so that they can better able to plan a program as it relates to how you deal with crime? Crime and violence in Jamaica is not stimulated by a national crisis. Crime and violence in Jamaica wasn't caused by the government, wasn't caused by the country, wasn't caused by something that is nationally happening. In other words, it's not influenced by gas prices, food prices, or the lack of medical insurance, the lack of education. These are not the things that are affecting the people who are causing crime and violence here in Jamaica. So how you plan for this, Mr. Government? Mr. Holdness, can you ask a police commissioner to plan for something that he needs the assistance of a psychological behavioralist person to show him what is really happening? What is the cause behind all these killings and the crime in Jamaica? 100%, believe it or not, these crimes are caused 100% by domestic affairs. Petty problems in communities. A man do a man something and he want to get back even with him. A man take a man something and he want to get back even with him. A man or a woman behave in a certain way to diss the program to another man and he want to get back even with him. These are domestic problems. These are not national problems. It's not like Andrew go out there and say, you know what, tomorrow the price of chicken back is gone up to $1,000 per pound, and the people revolting against the price and start killing and mashing up the place. That can be planned for. That the police commissioner can call in him strategists and all these people, and they can. If you cause a problem, you can also cause the cure. But in domestic affairs, government didn't cause the problem. So how are they gonna plan the cure? All of the crimes that are happening in Jamaica are domestically influenced. That means that Mr. Andrew Holdness, you weren't there when the first stone did throw. That means that Mr. Security Minister, you weren't there when the first bad word did cuss and the man tell him say your head big like Mandora Coconut. So you can plan for a situation. You never cause the problem. So you can't plan a solution for a problem you never cause. If you raise the price of chicken back and it cause people if you kill people, then naturally if you lower the price, it might just stop people from killing people. But when a man I go kill a next man because him taking things, or him tell him lie, or him tell him to go beep, 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 mother, you can't come in and say, alright gentlemen, let's sit down around this table and let's plan the strategy of how we're going to solve those crimes in Clarendon and those crimes in St. James. You know, I think this is the cause, so this must be the solution. You can't do that. What you need is some psychologists and some behavioralists Some people will study this at university so that they can be the better ones to plan these programs. To say, all right, Andrew, this is what is happening. And sending a group of people into these communities to get a feel of the area. You understand me? A feel, a sense of the area. What's the spirit like? What is driving the people in those areas? What's the mood like? What is happening? Then they'll be better able now to sit down with Andrew and say, Andrew, you know, sir, these domestic problems that cause all of these crime and violence. Theft or piff or little things between neighbors and neighbors, brethren and brethren, people and people. You understand me? Apart from the international conflict or crisis of scamming. You understand me? You have to catch the scammer. But this killing and shooting probably stem from monies gained from illegal activities. Still domestic. The other man never pay over the other man money, so him kill him. That wasn't a national issue. Him never kill him because chicken back price gone up, or because flour gone up, or because him have no medical insurance. He kill him because him just didn't get free money, and he want him money. So how do you plan for that? What strategies? What strategies you have in store for that, Andrew? You need to get people into the communities. You need to get police with specialized training. You need to stop only give them a gun and a few subjects and a few hours in a classroom. You need to send police officers to learn to understand the mind and mentality of people. Let them study into these things so that they can better able to give you a solution than for just throw a band-aid over a button. Or if you put give a man who have cancer children caffeinol. You have to have people who understand the situation, the minds of the men. You know, say, man may supposed to pay me my money and you know give me my money. Oh, me I'm go feet, you know, man. And if I baby for the breast, oh, everybody down there go suffer, man. It's just a shoot and shoot and shoot. Cause I man want my money. What them do? Them take me for a fool. A fool them take me for who want my money. And me I go down the feet. If a mother down there, me I kill that. These are the persons you are dealing with. You can't sit down on a round table and plan for that. You have to get men who understand the mentality and who can neutralize the situation even before it happens. People are taking their own justice in their own hands when they are hurt, emotionally hurt, psychologically hurt. They are taking the justice in their own hand. You think it's easy for a man ball to a police officer. You know say him do it and him hurt me, it hurt me in my heart. He should do it, take the money and know say me need to forget money too. No man now go sit down and ball to a police officer, so. You can't explain that hurt. You can't explain. You feel it, but you can't say this is how it goes and this is what it is. You only know say you want to get even, and you feel say justice, and you feel say you'll be satisfied that way, and the hurt will go away by you taking that man's life. When you can get people who understand these kind of feelings and these kind of hurts and these kind of situations, then Andrew, you start solving the problem of crime. Then you can get better solutions and realize that, you know, what can we integrate into these communities that can somehow provide a reformation or a transformation of the minds of the men in these communities, so that they can understand that, you know, taking justice in their own hands to try to alleviate an emotional hurt that they are feeling because their brethren sleep with their woman, and because their brethren take with their money, or because their brethren insult them, or because something happened. How can we provide a solution that will transform the minds of these men so that they can think otherwise, think differently. That's the area we're supposed to avoid. So when we can reset the mentality of these men and women and the people in the community, if we can reset the way of thinking and the way of understanding, if we can reset all of these situations, then we might have a chance of stemming crime and violence. But throwing a band-aid over a laceration not will solve the issue. Sitting down on the table and coming up and saying, more prison, more police officers on the road, more this and more that. What we need is specialized training for police officers who can understand these mental situation and come up with social programs that can transform and change the mind of people in the community. From the children, get it into the school. Social programs that you can't just tell them peace, 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 peace. Peace of what? The peace pal program in no what? Talk it out, don't fight it out. Talking out will lead to fight it out, because when that next man tell the next man about his mother and which part and that part and over there, so which part and the suck and the bag juice when for someone so suck. That is talking it out. And it's still not solving the problem, because words sometimes hotter than stone. So what do we need? We need the social integration, people with psychological training who can install programs into school to change the mentality of the young. We don't want button and guns out upon the street, because some of the policemen that are out there are affected by the same thing that the criminals are affected by, the mental anguish and pain and suffering. Everybody are affected in some ways, and sometimes it's lead from stress. So how can we get out a program into the community, into the wider Jamaica, that will bring forth the transformation? And say, you know what, I'm a bigger man than that. You understand me? Your teeth me hen, but don't worry, me can buy more chicken. And one day them chicken will grow in our hen again, and soon we'll lay more eggs. How can you change a man thinking into that? How can you change his approach to being unfairly treated? All of that have to be done from the school. You have to install that program into that mind from it young. So part of education is not GSAT and CXC and GSC and whatever SC. Most important education that we're talking about and looking into is relating to social happenings. How we function in society. So when the CXC and GXC and whatever we take don't value nothing in a society. We need teachings that can affect our socialization in our nation. Teach us how to socialize differently. Teach us how to think differently, so that we don't want to get even and kill off a whole family and shoot up a community. That's how probably we need to approach crime. Think it's too late. Sometimes the horse will go through the gate. You have to leave him alone. You have to shoot it down. You have to shoot down the horse. We're going through the gate, but what about the ones that are still in the barn, still in the stable, still in the pen? Those are the ones now you have to install programs into, so that they will socialize differently. A man take them things, the first thing him do is to seek counseling, sit down and have the appropriate officer that he can report it to, and that officer will not only listen to him but psychologically analyze his moods and know that, say that one I feel like him I go shoot somebody, or it hurt, that one I hurt. So, and present solution that not only in theory but also in psychological manipulation that will create some satisfaction in the mind. I say, you know, so me never think about it that way then. I show an officer, me never think about it that way then, you know. Where you just said, you know, me never even about that trouble. Just leave me alone. Where you just said, change my mind. Those are the things that we want. Those are the kind of officers we want. Persons who can use psychological information to change the ideas inside of the minds of the young and the old. So we need a special squad. When problems are happening, man a beat man up the road there, so when they come and they speak with the officer not only listen, but he psychologically analyze the person, and there in his mind start plan a solution or a way of switching or transforming the thoughts in the other man's head. You understand me? So when him give him the solution, he can say, you know, officer, me not go bother kill him, me not go bother shoot up the place. You understand me? So something like that. Maybe I've been talking too long, chatting too long. But Andrew, look into it. Sitting down with the security minister for plan to get thousands of band-aids to put on this gushing wound, blood that come out. If we don't stop the bleeding, we can't put on the band-aid, or better yet, the bandage. Let's try stop the bleeding. In fact, make we try stop the man from cutting the next man before the bleeding come. That's what we want. So in order to stop the cutting that cause the bleeding, that cause us now, or who don't know if we sit down and look band-aid, we have to stop the action of cutting. And that can only be done by transforming the minds of the people in the nation, in the community, in the schools, and in the church. Peace and love, Brother Andrew. Until next time, I'm your host. Yeah, man. Come here.